Please turn your sound on to hear full explanations of our answers. Thank you. The question is, which currency pairs are best for trading? And the answer to that, my answer to that is the three biggest majors. Now, what do I mean by the majors? The majors are, as you can imagine, the major currencies. And by major, we're talking about importance, but especially volume traded. And there are different definitions of the majors depending on who you talk to. For some people there's like 5, and for other people there's like 6 or whatever. But when I say the three biggest, they are really the most important ones. Most people would agree with, and you got to think of the euro against the dollar, the euro USD, the pound against the dollar as well, and also the dollar against the Japanese yen. Because these are the most important economies in the world, the biggest economies, the biggest trading blocks, the most important economies. The USA, the UK and Europe, and Japan as well. And especially the currencies, the cross-currency pairs between America, the UK and Europe, are maybe even more important than Japan. But Japan's kind of important because it is a big economy, and even though it's had some trouble in the last decade, it's still a huge economy, and it's still an important barometer of what's happening in that part of the world in the East as opposed to the West. So, because in some ways, sometimes the UK and the US are a little too aligned, and that kind of thing. But those are the best for trading. When I say the best, I really mean in terms of volume. The more volume you have, the more people you have, the more liquidity you have, the lower your transaction costs, the lower your spread, which is the difference between buying and selling a currency pair. So it means that you can make a lot of trades and you can quickly pull out of them, and you can go in and out, and it won't cost you much to do that. Whereas if you were trading in some really obscure currency, first of all, you're more likely to get a lousy price. Second of all, it's going to cost you more to do the same amount of trades. So you're better off dealing with the majors. Now, when I say, let's go back to the question, which currency pairs are best for trading? You've got to use the term best in very loose terms. I am assuming that you are a beginner to Forex, because otherwise you probably wouldn't be asking this question. So in that sense, it is best for you to concentrate on the majors, because they are what really drives most of the market. They are the most liquid. They are the biggest by volume. They make up most of the Forex market, and it's most important that you learn those. Now, later on in your Forex career, as you get better, and you shouldn't really progress to this stage until you've learned some of the basics of Forex, okay? So I wouldn't do this for at least a year if I were you. Later on, you can look at other currencies. You can look at the Canadian dollar against the US dollar, or you can look at so you can look at the Swiss franc, which is probably the next one that you'll look at, actually, because the Swiss franc is a very unique currency. It's considered a safe haven currency. When all hell is breaking loose everywhere else, a lot of money gets sent to Switzerland to be converted into Swiss francs, because people consider that a very safe place to put money, because they're a neutral country. They don't participate in wars, and historically it's been that way, and it's always been thought of it as a safe haven. So later on, you'll learn about some other currency pairs, and you'll learn about the rest of the majors, not just the three biggest ones, the rest of the majors, and also what they call the minors. So there's a lot of others, but if you're just starting out, concentrate on US dollar, the pound, the euro, and the Japanese yen. All four together actually constitute the three majors, just from the way that they interact. But concentrate on those markets. Don't start looking at all these other obscure markets unless you live in another country, maybe. For example, let's say you live in I don't know, let's say you live in Iraq, as unlikely as it is. Then you're gonna if you live somewhere, you're gonna know more about the Iraqi dinar, for example. And of course, it's worth keeping abreast of what's happening locally. That kind of ear to the ground knowledge is going to help you later on. But if you're just starting out trading, concentrate on the majors, because they are the most important currencies. I want to call them the best, but they're the most important. So I hope you found this video useful. Listen, before you go, I just want to tell you about an amazing resource that has helped thousands of traders and I put a link in the description box below. If you go there, you're going to be blown away by what you see there. It's really, really good. It's going to be incredibly useful to you. And if you're not yet a really good trader, which I'm sure you're not, or you wouldn't be asking that question, then you're definitely going to benefit from this site. So please have a look. It's going to make you a much better trader. Check it out, and I'll see you soon in another video. Take care. Bye.